Sean Franklin
and Nicole Smith
from Blood and Iron Martial Arts.
Here today to talk to you about the proper long point position.
This position goes by different names depending on the system or master you're following. However, it's very important. It'll be the impact position of all fully extended cuts and thrusts.
So, what is long point? Long point is the guard position with your arms extended fully in front of you. It is also the impact point from a well-executed cut or a structurally strong thrust. It can be used as a guard position on its own, but if you find yourself using it frequently, you're probably relying more on poke and pray than you are on actual technique. Long point is an extended guard position. In fact, this is the most extended you should ever be.
Many people make the mistake of holding it too low and close to the body. This isn't a guard in the German longsword tradition. The closest we come is an Italian guard called posta breve, and it's really useful for fighting in full armor.
But seeing as so many German practitioners use it, we've got to call it something.
Blood and Iron, we call it Schwanzhut. When in long point position, it's important to have a good wrist structure. We've already done a video on not breaking your wrist because it's a very important topic. If you do break your wrist, two bad things will happen. Number one, stress on the joints, it can lead to potential injury. Not good, especially because all your cuts and thrusts should be passing through this position.
The other is that you're going to be very slow to react and move. The wrist joint is the strongest when it's in proper alignment. If you don't have proper wrist structure to transmit force to the sword, all of your movements will be either slow, jerky, or very large to compensate. When in long point, it is important to maintain proper posture.
I mean, it's not like it's not important in any other guard either.
But it's especially tempting in long point to roll forward with this one.
Doubly bad if you're doing it to gain a little bit of reach. You might get a little poke at the cost of not being able to move or cut or do anything effectively. Oftentimes when fighters are intimidated by their opponent or they're afraid of the grapple, they overextend their sword hiding behind it, and it's not very good. I like to call it the keep away from me guard.
Which is very ironic because from this position it makes it really difficult to roll around from a cut if your sword is displaced. In fact, it leaves you more open for the grapple. Long point is interesting because not only is it a guard in its own right, it is the end point for both cuts and thrusts.
This means even if you don't really like fighting from long point, it's still very important to develop, as all your attacks are going to be constantly transitioning through it.
And like all your other guards, if you're not going to put in the training, you're not going to get the result.